officially done. Super excited. What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. I'm so excited to have you guys here. If you're new here, hi, welcome. My name's Claire and I'm super passionate about all things health, wellness, and just living a healthy and balanced lifestyle. And on this channel, I love sharing healthy meal ideas so that you guys can go get creative in the kitchen and cook yourself up some yummy and nourishing meals. But as always, I know we're all super excited to get into the food, so let's just get into the video. I decided to start off the week with a sweet potato hash to go with my eggs. I just seasoned my sweet potatoes with cinnamon, smoked paprika, cumin, and garlic. And I just set that aside and then got started on my eggs. You guys know how I like to prepare my eggs. Spinach, kimchi, and then I just cracked in an egg. And I had a big thing of egg whites that I had to use up, so I added some of those as well. Served it all up with my sweet potato hash and my eggs, and then I cut open an avocado. I would give this avocado a solid 6 out of 10. It tasted fine. It just lost some marks in the visual presentation because of some browning. But yeah, that was my breakfast on Monday. Okay, and then another really big change that I made is that I'm no longer drinking coffee, which is kind of crazy. If you guys watch my other videos, you guys know I was a ride or die hardcore coffee person, but lately, okay, the coffee and the oats have been upsetting my stomach, so I've not been having those and I've been feeling so much better. I'm also coming off of 22 years of school and I've been trying to give my adrenals a little bit more love, and I've just found that matcha has just been a little bit easier on that as well. But moving on to lunch, because I didn't have avocado toast for breakfast, I decided to make some for lunch. And as my toppings for my avocado toast, I just sauteed up some zucchini and some tofu. I seasoned my tofu with some coconut aminos, and I just set that aside and toasted up my bread. Of course, I put some coconut oil on my bread, get it nice and crispy. I added my avocado, some roasted red pepper, my tofu and zucchini on top, and then just for some extra gut health, I decided to add a little side of sauerkraut, and that was my lunch on Monday. Standing over in a nightgown. She's got the phone cord twisted around her finger. She's a sight to see. See Jane, why you staring out the window? Oh, with the red eyes, tell me his name is got you. Alright, and this would not be one of my videos without a nourish bowl. I just started by making up my tempeh. I just boiled it and then seasoned it with coconut aminos and garlic. And then I had some leftover rice and veggies, which is always great. I also steamed up some broccoli really quick, added my sauerkraut, and I just topped that off with tahini, mostly because I was just too lazy to make a sauce that night. Yeah, got my carbs, protein, fat, veggies, fermented foods. That is how I make my nourish bowls. And yeah, that was my dinner on Monday. And then after dinner, I made these in my last video as well, but they're just 3-ingredient peanut butter cookies. They're super simple to make. The base recipe is just peanut butter, maple syrup, and oat flour. I also just added some vanilla, salt, and some dark chocolate chips just for some extra flavor. And I just had a few of those fresh out of the oven for dessert. And that was my Monday.
Daydreaming got me thinking that this can all be true. Speculating, a long time waiting to hear a word back from you. Conversation
And on Tuesday, I was feeling something sweet for breakfast, so I had some chia seed pudding that I made over the weekend. I will have the recipe for the chia seed pudding linked below, but I've made it in a bunch of my videos. And I just had that with some fruit and nuts, and after that, I made my matcha. And then on Tuesday, I had a bunch of different calls for school, so I kind of had a two-part lunch. For the first half of my lunch, I just ended up scrambling some eggs. I figured since I didn't have eggs for breakfast, might as well have them for lunch. I also had some of the leftover sweet potato hash from the day before, so I just warmed that up in a pan with some spinach, kimchi, added some eggs, and I just served that up with some avocado and some more kimchi. Okay, and then in the later afternoon, I had the second half of my lunch. I had some black beans in the fridge that I had to use up, and I just microwaved some corn, and I just mashed that together. I seasoned it all with garlic powder, chili, lime seasoning from Trader Joe's, and some salt. I added in some tahini, which may sound weird. I just needed something to bind everything together, and I just rolled those up in some corn tortillas and fried them off in a frying pan. I decided to serve them with a little bit of salsa to dip, and these were actually super delicious. You could definitely just make more of these for a whole meal, or these would be like a really fun appetizer to have at like a dinner party if you wanted like a little healthy appetizer. And that was the second half of my lunch. And moving on to dinner, I just started by roasting up a bunch of Brussels sprouts. I talked about this trick in my last video, but lately I've just been washing my Brussels sprouts and then just gently steaming them in the microwave for a few minutes. This just helps them get nice and soft on the inside, and then that way they don't get too dry when you roast them in the oven. I seasoned those with some coconut oil, garlic, salt, and pepper, and I just roasted those in the oven. And while my Brussels sprouts were roasting, I just cooked up some pasta along with some tempeh. My tempeh takes about 10 minutes to boil, which is perfect because that's how long the pasta takes. And then once that was all drained, I added in my Brussels sprouts and I chopped up some more roasted red pepper. And then for a super quick sauce, I just added in some tahini, balsamic vinegar, garlic, and some pasta water just to make it nice and creamy. And yeah, this made a super big batch. I had lots of leftovers, but really delicious. And that was my dinner on Tuesday. What's going on? And on Wednesday, I tried to get a little bit creative with breakfast. I basically tried to make savory sweet potato pancakes, and I just made a few critical errors when I made these. Firstly, I started by wilting down some spinach and then adding that to the batter. I really should have squeezed out the excess moisture from the spinach because the batter was just a little bit too thin. I think I also just should have used 2 eggs instead of an egg and egg whites, because you can see when I go to flip them, they just weren't as kind of dense and solid as I would like to be, and I think it was just, there was just too much moisture. They still tasted really great, the texture just wasn't on point. Also, the unaesthetic avocado kind of ruined the presentation, but I mean, that's what happens when you experiment in the kitchen and try different things. It's not always going to turn out exactly how you wanted it. But anyways, moving on to lunch, I had to go into clinic that day, so I just took some of the leftover pasta and warmed it up in my crock pot once I got to clinic. I also took a few of my peanut butter cookies just to have as a snack. I also stopped at Starbucks on my way, and I had a full intention of ordering a matcha, but when I got to the counter, they said that they were all out, so I settled for a decaf latte. Still didn't feel my best after I drank this. On Thursday, I was back to my matcha. And for dinner, I decided to make up some fried rice. I just started by sauteing up some carrots, broccoli, tofu. I added in some frozen corn and edamame, and I just gave that all a really good toss. I added in a bunch of leftover rice that I had. I just seasoned that with some coconut aminos, kimchi, lime juice, and then I added some tahini just because, well, I wanted to give it a little bit more of like a sesame flavor. Also, you guys know tahini just makes everything delicious. And I just served that up in a bowl. I topped it off with this avocado. Again, not a very good avocado. Guys, the avocados were just not good this week. Well, we'll have to see next week if they get any better. And yeah, that was my dinner on Wednesday.
Nothing like your smile in the morning, following the linings on your cheeks.
Alright guys, so I did want to take a little break from the food just to give you guys a little channel / life update. If you guys are not interested, that's totally fine. I will have Thursday timestamp down below, so you can just skip on ahead to that. But if you guys are a regular viewer of my videos, you may have noticed that I didn't say student in my intro, and that is because I'm officially done school. I actually filmed this week of eating during my last week of school, but now I'm officially done. Super excited. If you guys didn't know, I was studying naturopathic medicine, so that is actually what I wanted to talk about. I have a bunch of licensing exams to write this summer, so in terms of my YouTube channel, I really want to keep posting every week. I really enjoy bringing you guys content, and I'm really enjoying making the videos. I just don't think I'm gonna be doing the what I eat in a weeks as much. They just take a long time to film and edit, and I want to make sure that I'm devoting enough time to studying. I'll probably transition to more what I eat in a days or just recipe videos, but definitely let me know in the comments what you guys would want to see, if you'd prefer what I eat in a days or just like a few lunch ideas or a few dinner ideas. Definitely let me know in the comments down below, because I do want to make sure that you guys are getting value out of the videos. Also, I know a lot of you guys watch these videos for meal ideas, so I definitely recommend checking out my Instagram. I've been posting a lot more on there, and I'm pretty active on my stories with posting what I'm eating every day and stuff like that. So if you're ever looking for any meal ideas, I would definitely check that out. But yeah, I just thought I'd give you guys that little update, but let's get back to the food.
Into the place, I spot you from a ways. My heart, it started racing. The crowd across the way, the flowers on your face, and then I'm from the 80s. Someone keeps blocking my way. I can't feel farther away.
And for lunch on Thursday, I decided to make up a sandwich. I've been having this sandwich pretty regularly. The weather here has been super gloomy. I feel like spring is always kind of disappointing. You think it's going to be super bright and sunny out, and it just ends up being kind of rainy and gloomy. But sandwiches are always a nice lunch to have on a kind of a gloomy, rainy day. So I just started by toasting my bread in some coconut oil. I added some mustard, avocado, my tempeh, sprouts, some sauerkraut, and of course some balsamic glaze as well. I also decided to serve that up with some cucumbers, and then the sun did come out for like 2 minutes, so I did get this beautiful shot by the window, but that was my lunch on Thursday. And then after lunch, I just snacked on some of these dark chocolate covered almonds. Guys, just keep in mind in these videos, I don't always show my snacks. I definitely snack on a lot of like dark chocolate and fruit throughout the week, so just keep that in mind. But moving on to dinner, I just started by boiling some kombu and rice noodles. If you don't know what kombu is, it's basically a type of seaweed or sea vegetable. I really like just adding it when I'm making rice or rice noodles. I just like the flavor, and it adds a lot of nutrients as well. And while that was cooking up, I just sauteed up some broccoli and tofu. And then I made a really quick sauce with some garlic, ginger, lime juice, coconut aminos, tahini, and then some hot water to thin it out. I gave that a really good shake, and by that time my broccoli and tofu were all done cooking, so I just went ahead and added my rice noodles, kombu, and sauce, gave that a really good toss, and that was my dinner on Thursday.
Oh baby, I'm afraid to feel nothing. I know that you can make me feel something. Don't tell me that you're not good for me. You don't know the half of me. me. I hate being around me, even if you're not okay. She's a Mona Lisa. Everyone's lining up to see her. She's a Mona Lisa. Everyone's lining up to see her. There must be something about her features. You'll find the beauty.
And for breakfast on Friday, I made some savory muffins. I actually made these Thursday night and then just warmed them up in the morning. I'm still working on the recipe, but the base is just basically chickpea flour, and then I just threw in some kale, some leftover tempeh, and roasted red pepper. But yeah, they were really, really good, but like I said, still working on the recipe. I also made a matcha and took that with me to go. And then on Fridays, I go into the office, so I just took my lunch with me. I just packed the rest of the leftover fried rice that I had from Wednesday, and I just warmed that up in a crock pot once I got to work. I filmed this actually during my last week of school, so my boss brought some donuts to have to celebrate being done school. These are mochi donuts, so I had one of those as a snack in the afternoon. And then once I got home, I had to make dinner really quick because I was actually going over to a friend's house for drinks to celebrate us being done school. And I really wanted to have like a good dinner before I had drinks because alcohol on an empty stomach with me just does not mix well. I mean, I don't think anyone does well with alcohol on an empty stomach, but yeah, I just started by sauteing up some mushrooms in balsamic vinegar, and then I added some spinach and I just set those aside, fried up some eggs and egg whites. I added some leftover rice to my bowl along with my eggs. Veggies, I cut up half of an avocado. Again, not the best avocado. They were just disappointing this week. Added some kimchi as well. It was a nice little breakfast bowl for dinner. And after that, I just went over to my friend's house. We just had some wine and cake and cookies. I totally forgot to film anything. The only piece of footage I got was this one photo, so I will insert that in here. But yeah, it was just a really nice evening. But that does bring us to the end of the video, so thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys got some meal ideas or inspiration. As always, if you did enjoy the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, make sure your bell notifications are turned on so you get notified every time I post a new video. And if you guys are new here, make sure to subscribe so you can come hang out with me every week. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!
The way that you adore me.